The location of sex, amount of clients per day, and prices vary with each woman and in different sectors, but prostitutes working in brothels and on the street often make almost 3 times the amount of money they would earn working in a straight job.
I don't believe in working in the street. I have a small place, so to work, like, you know. I have my thing here on the internet, so they find me. Usually see clients today is like, from the morning till night time, it's like 6. I have half hours, and I have hours, so, and whole night, so. Just 400 for that, and 500 an hour. You want to stay longer, and then, yeah.
Well, in a nightclub, it's, like I say, it's different than on the street. In a nightclub, you have one guy for the night. On the street, you have about 5, 6, as much as you can do. Because on the street, hey, guys don't want to pay. They pay you maybe 100 rand, 200 rand, 30 rand for a blowjob, 50 rand. You know, at the clubs, you get thousands.
Because it's the same thing we do as a woman is married to a husband, but we just do it better. In a way, we listen, they talk, and they complain about the wife, this and that. Because if you're in a room with a guy or in a bedroom, it's not like you're gonna have sex, the guy's gonna have sex on top of you. They fuck you just there and then after sleep, like, okay. No, we are there to listen to them.
The use and abuse of drugs is often made synonymous with prostitution. Statistics from selling sex in Cape Town state that approximately 57% of prostitutes in Cape Town reported that they never use drugs. However, most of them have been exposed to drugs while working in the industry.
I think that the criminality of sex work means that it's pushed underground, means that there's a lot of drug syndicates attached to the industry which makes that link. But I don't think that sex workers come to the industry as addicts and therefore have to work to support an existing addiction. The fact that they are isolated, that they have very poor support structures because they have to work under such poor conditions, that it leaves room for sex workers to turn to substances as a form of a coping mechanism, like people often do. We have high levels of drug abuse within our province, and so again, that problem is not unique to the sex industry.
Like, you know, to do this work, to sleep with a different man every night. I mean, I don't even know. I don't really want to be there mentally for it, so I take drugs before I do that. So it's not stigmatized. But the chemicals change them, and they become chemically dependent, and a lot of that money that they thought they were going to save goes towards drugs eventually, and it becomes a major coping mechanism. And this coping mechanism, the thing that is initially a coping mechanism, ends up becoming actually the thing that traps them in there. So yes, it's drugs and alcohol play a key role in keeping girls there. It's not why they get into it. It's why they stay for multiple years.
I have to drink like the whole 2 weeks, non-stop, so to get into, I don't do drugs at all. The only drug I'm using is like drinking and smoking. I only drink when I go out to clubs, then I want to be sober if I do it.
When I started working on the street, that's when I started getting involved with drugs. When I was in the nightclub, I wouldn't dream of touching drugs. Whiskey, and that was my thing. The first drug that I was introduced to was man rakes, you know, with a pipe and dacha. And one day, it was my birthday, and then a so-called friend came to my house and says, "It's your birthday, we're coming to celebrate your birthday." And she put a rock pipe in my mouth. Because now I just wanted to be in the room and sitting with a pulp. I met a guy, he was from Rondebosch, and then he promised me a job, and I thought, okay, fine. And in 2 days, I was there by him, servicing him, and being there, cleaning his house in a day with the secretary there. And then the third day I said to him, "When are you going to pay me? With my money?" He said to me, oh, but he had it safe in his house. And he said to me, I only got 500 rand and I need to fix my car. I said, you want to fix my car? What about me? What about my money? And then I thought, no, I need to, because now I really felt like a fix. You know, I've been there now for 3 days and I haven't had any drugs in my system. And I just went to the kitchen and I just took out a knife. And then I came to him, he never saw the knife. And he had the bag still in his hand for the 500 rand. And I went to him and I just stabbed him in the heart. I grabbed the bag out of his hand and I ran. He was on the 3rd floor. And he ran after me. And as he ran after me, he must have pulled the knife out. So I wasn't aware that I stabbed him in the heart. I ran screaming, you know, because he was after me. I thought he was going to stab me with a knife in my back or something. And then I left and I went to the merchant. That time I was staying by a merchant. And I went to smoke the money out. And then a day or so afterwards, I just heard the cops was looking for me. They were at the merchant's house. And then they got me and they arrested me for murder. And it was like a cold bucket was just water was just thrown over me. I couldn't believe it, you know, and they locked me up in a cell. And that night, I had so much remorse. I could never believe it. I just cried to them. I said, Lord, forgive me. You know, it wasn't my intention to kill this man, and you know, I don't think you would ever be able to imagine what it feels like to take a human life.
Violence and abuse is common in the prostitution industry, especially in the street sector, as they are the most vulnerable. Over a third of street-based prostitutes report having been physically hurt by a client. Another form of abuse is non-payment by clients, experienced by most of these women. Over a third of them report having been raped by a client.
It is horrific what happened to these women. They're beaten and raped and abused. You see what women look like in prostitution after a couple of years in there?
I remember once or twice I had to jump out of a car.
There are really horrific stories, but sex workers also speak kindly of other clients who treat them like human beings, who often come to them for companionship, someone they can talk to. It's not always and only about sex.
Do you ever realize they are like, wow, non-existent sometimes, even in the way they look at you?
I was 18 when I was raped. I went to a friend of mine and we were drinking beers at our place, and then by the time I had to go home, I was so tired, I think I fell asleep. And then she said, come, I've got a lift for you. This guy can take you home. And then I just got in the bucket. I didn't even look because I was tired. And this guy just drove off. And I said to him, but where are you going now? And then I just saw 2 other guys getting out from, they were covered on the back. And then he stopped the bucket and they came and they held a gun to my head and they raped me. First time I was stabbed by a drug dealer. Stabbed me, also didn't over money. I just took 2,000 and he passed out. We were drugging all night and he passed out. And then I got 2,000 rand in his cupboard, and then I just took it, and the next minute, I think it was early hours of the morning, he came looking for me. He just came with such a butcher knife. Can I show? He just cut me from here to there at the back. I was sitting like this with my guts in my hand, and I was crying to God. I said, Lord, I want to die. That time I was so tired of my life that I said, Lord, I want to die. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live this life. 2 weeks I was in a coma, and the doctor said it's a miracle that I was alive. When I walked out of the hospital, they couldn't believe it.